The rise of Claude AI, the most human AI ever built. Artificial intelligence is evolving faster than any technology in history. Every few months, a new name takes the spotlight: ChatGPT, Gemini, Copilot. But one system stands out for a different reason, not because it's louder or flashier, but because it feels thoughtful. That system is called Claude, and it's quickly becoming known as the most human-like AI ever built. This is the story of how Claude was created, what makes it so powerful, and how it's quietly reshaping how people work, learn, and think. Claude didn't come from nowhere. Its roots go back to Anthropic, a company founded in 2021 by former OpenAI researchers, including Dario and Daniela Amode. These were the same people who helped build the early versions of GPT. But they left with a new mission: to create artificial intelligence that's not just powerful, but safe, aligned, and understandable. While other companies chased scale and speed, Anthropic focused on control and ethics, making sure AI could reason responsibly. They believed that the next generation of models shouldn't just predict words, but reflect on their meaning. From that belief came Claude. The name Claude is a tribute to Claude Shannon, the father of information theory, the man who proved that all knowledge, from sound to speech, could be turned into data. Anthropic's Claude carries that same philosophy forward, understanding information deeply, not just repeating it. From the start, Anthropic wanted to build a different kind of AI, one that doesn't just talk, but thinks. They created something called constitutional AI, a unique training method where the model learns to follow a written set of ethical principles. Instead of just copying human feedback, Claude uses its constitution to self-correct, self-criticize, and make better judgments about what's helpful, harmless, and honest. It's like giving an AI a moral compass and teaching it how to use it. This is what makes Claude feel different. When you talk to it, it doesn't rush to answer. It reasons, it clarifies, and sometimes it even asks questions back. That calm, deliberate tone isn't a quirk. It's the product of Anthropic's belief that alignment isn't an afterthought, it's the foundation. Technically, Claude belongs to the same family of large language models as GPT or Gemini, but the engineering choices behind it give it unique strengths. For one, Claude can read massive amounts of text at once. Its context window, basically how much it can remember in a single conversation, is enormous. Claude 3.5 can handle around 200,000 tokens. That's the equivalent of reading an entire book or a stack of research papers in one go, and still remembering the details. This isn't just a flex. It means Claude can actually think about long documents. It can summarize 300-page legal contracts, analyze dense financial filings, or digest entire policy papers, and then explain them in plain English. For lawyers, researchers, or executives, that's revolutionary. It turns days of reading into minutes of insight. Under the hood, Claude runs on a transformer architecture, a network of billions of neurons that predict and connect words based on probability. But the secret sauce is how it's trained. Anthropic doesn't just reward Claude for giving correct answers, it trains it to justify them. During fine-tuning, the model learns to explain its reasoning step by step, making its thought process transparent. That's why Claude doesn't just say what's true, it shows why it's true. Claude's rise has been quieter than some of its rivals, but its impact is spreading fast. Businesses, universities, and governments are adopting it because it's powerful and trustworthy. In the corporate world, Claude has become a kind of digital analyst. Feed it spreadsheets, market data, or reports, and it delivers synthesized insights that actually make sense. It doesn't just summarize, it connects dots. Executives use it to evaluate competitors, draft policy memos, and generate reports that used to take entire teams. In law, it's a document powerhouse. Claude can read a contract library in seconds and flag inconsistent clauses, missing obligations, or risky language. For legal researchers, it can scan case law, summarize judgments, and even suggest precedent, all while maintaining strict neutrality. In education, Claude has quietly become one of the most powerful teaching tools on the planet. Because of its constitutional design, it's patient, clear, and adaptable. It can explain physics to a teenager, economics to a college student, or writing techniques to an author. It adjusts to the learner's level, offers examples, and gives feedback without judgment. For teachers, it's like having an assistant that never gets tired. For developers, Claude acts as a second brain. It reads code, explains logic, and identifies vulnerabilities. Its writing style is clear, clean, and focused on readability, exactly what engineers need when debugging or learning a new framework. And because Claude can reason about huge code bases, it's become invaluable for onboarding new developers and managing legacy systems. And then there's creativity. Claude can write scripts, poems, and essays that sound human, not because it mimics tone, but because it understands structure. When a writer brainstorms ideas with Claude, it doesn't just throw random words at the page, it builds narrative logic, character motivation, emotional rhythm, thematic balance. That's why so many creators describe Claude as a co-writer, not a ghostwriter. But the real magic of Claude is how it interacts. Claude isn't designed to dominate a conversation. It's designed to collaborate. It doesn't just execute commands. It asks for clarity, checks assumptions, and helps you refine your own thinking. Talk to Claude long enough, and you'll notice something interesting. It makes you a better thinker. The act of structuring your questions for Claude, adding context, explaining goals, forces clarity. That's why many professionals describe it as not just useful, but educational. This collaborative intelligence marks a turning point. For decades, humans taught machines. Now, machines are teaching humans how to think better. So what exactly gives Claude its human feel? It's not emotion, it's structure. Claude doesn't simulate feelings. It simulates reasoning, the patterns of explanation, reflection, and revision that define thoughtful communication. When it says, "Let me consider both perspectives," it's performing a pattern learned from millions of examples of careful human reasoning. But the result feels real, because that's what reasoning sounds like. Claude's tone also matters. It's direct, but respectful. Analytical, but not cold. It's the kind of communication style you'd expect from a thoughtful professor or a balanced journalist. That's intentional. Anthropic fine-tuned Claude, not just to answer accurately, but to answer well, with clarity, nuance, and balance. It's what makes Claude so appealing in a world of noisy, polarized online debate. But with all this power comes responsibility. AI systems are no longer toys. They're decision-making engines influencing everything from finance to education to healthcare. Anthropic designed Claude with guardrails built in. It won't generate harmful instructions, exploit vulnerabilities, or produce hate speech. Some users complain that it's too cautious, but that caution is the reason major institutions trust it. That safety-first approach is also strategic. The more capable AI becomes, the more dangerous errors become. Anthropic's entire philosophy is built on one idea. The more powerful the system, the more careful its alignment must be. Claude is a real-world test of that principle, a model that scales capability and safety together. And it's working. While some AIs gain headlines for strange or unpredictable behavior, Claude has built a reputation for reliability. It's not perfect, no AI is, but it's consistent, explainable, and less likely to hallucinate. In industries where mistakes cost millions or lives, that's priceless. Claude's influence is growing fast. Startups are building businesses around it. Apps are embedding Claude as a back-end reasoning engine, powering chatbots, legal assistants, financial dashboards, and research tools. One platform uses Claude to summarize customer feedback from thousands of reviews. Another uses it to predict market sentiment by reading public filings and social media data. Wherever there's text, Claude can reason about it. And because Anthropic offers different models, Opus for deep reasoning, Sonnet for balanced performance, and Haiku for speed, businesses can choose the perfect balance between depth and cost. That flexibility is one reason Claude's adoption is accelerating even faster than expected. But beyond business, Claude represents something bigger, a philosophical shift in how we think about intelligence. For decades, AI progress was measured by performance benchmarks: accuracy, fluency, computation speed. Claude adds a new metric: alignment with human values. It's not just about what the model can do, but whether it should do it. This is a glimpse of the future, where intelligence is not only scalable, but trustworthy. So how do you actually use Claude effectively? The secret is simple: clarity, context, and iteration. First, clarity. The more specific your question, the better the answer. Instead of asking, "Write me a business plan," say, "Create a business plan for a small SaaS company that targets remote developers, with pricing between $10 and $30 per month." That level of detail gives Claude something concrete to reason about. Second, context. Claude thrives on information. Give it documents, examples, or even data tables. The more you feed it, the smarter it feels, because it can reason across all that context simultaneously. And third, iteration. Don't just prompt once and move on. Have a conversation. Ask Claude to critique its own output, improve weak points, or explain its reasoning. This iterative dialogue is where the real value comes from. You're not just using a tool, you're working with a partner. That's why the best Claude users treat it like a collaborator, a second mind that thinks differently, challenges assumptions, and expands perspective. Claude's story also raises a bigger question, not about what AI can do, but what kind of intelligence we want it to represent. Anthropic believes the future of AI isn't dominance, it's dialogue. Claude is proof that we can design technology to be both powerful and principled, that safety and progress aren't opposites, they're partners. As these systems evolve, they'll shape more than our workflows. They'll shape our culture. They'll model new forms of communication, slower, clearer, more reflective, in a world that desperately needs them. Maybe that's the real reason Claude feels human. It's not because it mimics emotion, but because it reminds us how to think, carefully, honestly, and with empathy for complexity. Artificial intelligence is no longer a distant idea. It's here, shaping our daily lives in ways we barely notice. Claude represents a vision of that future done right, intelligent, transparent, and deeply aligned with human intent. It's the blueprint for an era where machines don't just compute for us, they reason with us. And that's why Claude might just be the most human AI ever built. If you enjoyed this breakdown of Claude AI, make sure to subscribe for more deep dives into the technology shaping our future. From reasoning machines to synthetic creativity, we're entering a new age of intelligence, and understanding it is the first step to mastering it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.